Good morning and welcome to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are talking work-life balance, and we have a lot of great information about our own personal experiences and some research, always good research. I don't know about you, but I have had times in my life where things are just smooth and work-life balance is not a problem at all, and then other times when it is a battle every single day to make sure that I've got all of my ducks in a row and make sure everything is all good. And a lot of times it's so funny how people will approach me and say, wow, you know, you seem to just really, and you guys are probably going to laugh at me right now, but you really seem to have it all together. You really seem to be well organized, and you seem to, and it's funny to me because it is a very intentional, purposeful thing to make sure that I've got all the ducks in a row. It is not quite as smooth as some people may think. So I am really looking forward to talking about this whole work-life balance, but it's not just your traditional blah, blah, blah work-life balance. There are a lot of really good tips and some psychological aspects to it that I would like to bring to the table so that we can understand what we need to do in order to get our minds right, so that we can understand what we need to do to get our money right, to get to live out our dreams, to live our purpose, because when we are living our purpose and when we are doing what it is that we're supposed to do, it makes that balance all the more easier because there's a seamless flow across everything that we do. So I have two amazing guests with me that I'll be able to introduce after the break. I have Tarshish and Greg who are here, and I'll tell you who they all about them as soon as we get back. So stay tuned. Stay with us. We've got a great show ready for you. I can't wait to hear what you all have to say about work-life balance. And, of course, I do have a balance challenge for you, as always, this week. So you're with the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we will be right back.
Oh, my God.
Okay, you fix that. Okay, now I'm going to fix this one. I'll let you fix that.
Okay.
That was good.
Oh, thank you.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. If someone is just coming in,
I'm like,
I wouldn't do that.
Wah!
You wouldn't know I was late. You wouldn't know that I was
Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guides us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Hey, Teddy, why is investing important?
Most people have goals that they're trying to reach in life that has something to do with growing their assets. That's a problem that we have in our community because we don't take enough risk to actually grow our assets to meet our expectations.
So how does Parish Capital help me?
I see myself as a world-class investor. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I'm here to bring a transparent, low-fee strategy so people understand what they're getting into when they invest. $1 today is not worth the same as $1 tomorrow. You can go to my website at parishcapital.com or call us at 800-618-1940.
Invest your money.
Ignore the noise, stay focused, and prosperity be unto you.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change, called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl. School zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah. Street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Y'all need anything else?
Sensation Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are talking work-life balance, and I have two amazing guests with me today, and I would love to introduce them. First, we have Ms. Tarshish Jordan, and she upgrades the image of ambitious professionals and innovative companies, teaching them brand strategies that guarantee a competitive edge. And she balances this with her role as mother, and she's got family and she's got personal lives, as we all do. And so Tarshish is going to be able to talk to us about what she does. Individual clients acquire professional and management coaching and access to a luxury menswear collection that helps them display the 3 C's to the C-suite, which is confidence, credibility, and competence.
Yes.
So welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Pam.
We also have Dr. Greg Shealey, and originally a native of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He resides right here in Atlanta, Georgia. He holds a BS degree in education from Georgia State University, a master's degree in biomechanics from Illinois State University, and a PhD from the University of Southern Mississippi. Now, Dr. Greg Shealey is the president of National Property Institute, LLC, a general contracting and real estate company. He's also the founder of iQuick Tools, a mobile application technology company. And Dr. Shealey is a man who lives and breathes business. He began his foray on the mobile app development industry through his experience in real estate and construction. One thing leads to another, and he started making apps designed specifically for his construction and real estate business, but has now developed well over 30 apps that include social apps and games. He's also the author of the App Millionaire, How to Make Sleep Money with a Micro Business. I personally am going to want to know a lot about this.
So am I.
I have considered for my own businesses, I need some really, not just some plain old apps, but some apps that are really going to be effective. So welcome, Greg.
Thanks for having me, Dr. Pam.
No problem, no problem. So I would love to just kind of first just start off with a general overview. I know I gave the formal bio of what you do, but if you wouldn't each mind just telling the audience a little bit about who you are and why it is that you're doing what you're doing. How did you even get into this area?
Okay, ladies first. Again, my name is Tarshish. Tarshish Jordan. I am the owner of Red Door Consulting. It is a brand development brand development company that focuses on training, marketing, and we have a complimentary men's clothing line. So, well, let me say this.
Oh, the compliment.
Yeah, it compliment with the E. The compliment with the E. Yes, that compliments. Because honestly, I believe most people focus on their business and getting that all together when it comes to branding, but they don't focus on their personal image. So, as I've said before, our company, Red Door Consulting, is one of the few companies, I want to say the company that when we work with our clients, we work with them on both, because we know that your personal brand is as important as your business brand, and they should be aligned. So that's what the business focuses on. But I am the mother of 2 boys. I have a 16-year-old son and a 12-year-old son. I have a relationship, and I have, ex-husband, and I have his wife, partners in parenting. Mm-hmm. So just trying to tie all of that together with the business is a challenge, but we make it happen. Yes. So that, and then I guess the big challenge for me with balancing is reminding myself to focus on me. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Being a business owner, a mother, and taking care of, like most women do, taking care of the other people in my life that matter, but also just I have to remind myself constantly, take care of you, take care of you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
it.
so important.
Yeah.
So important. And Dr. Greg, I forgot to mention you're a father as well.
Yes.
Correct. So tell us a little bit about you.
Like you said, I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've been in Atlanta over 20 years now.
Okay.
So these are my roots now. I have a company, National Property Institute. We mainly focus on real estate development for the government, and I call it the small government because we do a lot of work for smaller municipalities like the city of Atlanta, Clayton County, DeKalb County, Cobb County, and places like that. So 95% of our business is related to government contracting.
Okay.
That's what we do. So we've been in business for 12 years, 11 months, and 1 day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And
wow. So you're almost on a 13-year anniversary then.
Almost February 2nd. Right. February 2nd will be the 13th anniversary of the business. Small business, and we're growing each year. We've grown each year, and it's doing pretty well. It's doing pretty well. And around year 4 or 5, first 4 or 5 years was a grind. It was. I
was going to ask you that. How long did it take to?
Yeah, it was a grind. And back then, that's when I was married. Back then, it was hard to balance, a growing business and having a family. It was tough. It was tough. I probably went 4 years. No exaggeration. I probably went 4 years straight of working.
Yeah.
Of nonstop working, like 7 days a week working, and I used to think back in those days, I used to think people who aren't grinding like this, they're crazy. They're crazy.
Who aren't or who are?
Who are not grinding. I used to think like, why aren't you grinding like this? There's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And then one day I woke up and I said, oh my God, years just went by and all I did was work.
Wow.
And then I started creating systems, and that's how I got into mobile apps, to make the system work better. And we can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very nice. Very nice.
I love it. So trying to come away, and let me make sure I understood this correctly, come away from the grinding of working harder and start working smarter?
Yes.
Is that kind of what?
Yes.
I like it. I like it.
I like that. I like that a lot.
All right. Well, we are about to get into some trending topics.
Primary election.
Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Black, trending topics.
All right. So, I can't, how can I not start trending topics without talking about the amazing marathon of a baseball game of the World Series that happened last night with the Chicago Cubs victory. And they have, I remember living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and hearing about this curse that the Chicago Cubs must have been, why are you looking so upset over there? He's not looking good over there. But
I'm Pittsburgh all the way.
Okay.
I am Pittsburgh all the way. In every sport.
It doesn't matter what other teams are in it.
Every sport.
I don't even care if the Indians lost. I Pittsburgh wasn't in it. I don't care.
Oh, man.
And I lived in Illinois.
You did? Okay.
I went to school in Illinois.
And you couldn't get with the teams. No, I couldn't eat. When I lived in Milwaukee, I couldn't get with the Green Bay Packers. I couldn't get with the Bucks. I was LA all the way. So,
I understand.
But, this is a great victory for the Cubs. It would have been great either way because Cleveland has had sort of a championship drought for a while until this year. And so I was thinking, wow, this must be some kind of year when it looked good for Cleveland. But suddenly the Cubs took it, and rain delay and, lots of drama. I don't think you can have much more drama than we had in last night's game, but they made it happen. And so that is the big news. I had to go baseball this morning because, how could we not? This is a curse that has been broken after 108 years.
I'm not a big baseball fan. No real stake in the game, but I was happy for them. Just based on what we saw in the news. Hey, go Chicago.
If nothing else, a lot of people can just rally around the championships and the, we can all identify with a victory, a well-deserved victory.
Well, I can understand that.
I'm not one of those bandwagon riders for them, just for this.
I can understand.
Exactly.
Go Cubs.
Go Cubs. Go Cubs. Sound like Eeyore. No.
Yeah, he's like, womp, womp, womp.
All right. Well, we will be right back to talk a little bit more about life balance.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction. Invest $49 a month at a real gym. For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first. I will never accept defeat. I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined.
I am disciplined, physically and mentally tough, trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills. I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself. I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
Enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Tell me something. With all this money coming in from both sides, how could anything possibly ever get done?
It doesn't. That's the genius of the system.
Exercise your right to vote.
Exercise your right to vote.
Exercise your right to vote.
It's the Blonde Bombshell Blondie Lockhart of the Happy Hour. Make sure that you exercise your right to vote.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today I am joined by Tarshish Jordan and Dr. Greg Shealey, and we are talking balance. And so, two interesting things that each of them said that I really want to come back to. First, Tarshish had mentioned taking care of yourself and how important it is to take care of yourself. And I'm curious to know from each of you, how has that been for you? What was the evolution? Because we all come to a place where we realize, okay, I need to stop what I'm doing and refocus and get myself together and start taking care of myself. How did that happen for each of you?
Well, for me, like I said, I went years of just grinding and grinding, growing the business, and I had tunnel vision. I just thought that I have a plan. I'm going to execute this plan, and nothing in the world is going to stop me from this plan. And then one day, like I said, I looked up and I was like, oh my God, I went years of doing nothing but work, 7 days a week. I even worked on Christmas. I remember I sent my whole team out some instructions on Christmas Day, and I said, I know this is crazy, but I can't stop myself. And I then, shortly after that, I was just feeling like, wow, burnt out and just exhausted. And I said, I work out all the time. I'm pretty fit and things like that, but mentally, I was drained. I mean, it was something that just knocked me on my butt, and I was drained. So I had to take a step back.
Were there things that you lost in that time that you think, was a result of this particular time period?
I lost fun. It started to feel like fun was gone.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't find feeling good. Because I can't lie, it was about making money and securing the future for my two kids. And I was like, at one point I was like, wow, I may not even be around for the 2 kids if I keep doing this.
Yeah.
So it was just something that just knocked me on my butt. And I remember I was at a work site, and I couldn't even focus. And I went to another work site, and I was like, I can't even focus. And I used to have laser focus. And I said, I can't even focus, so I started faking it. So my workers didn't even know that I was just like zoned out. So I would write down the things before I went to the work site, the things that I was going to say, just so I didn't look so zoned out. And I'd write it down, and I would just say it and give instructions and then just leave.
Wow.
And I was like, this is not good.
Yeah. So at what point did you stop and say, this has got to change?
The crazy thing is, it wasn't a point. It's my body said, stop.
Your body said
my body was saying, when I was zoned out, my body was saying, dude, you can't do this.
Yeah.
You can't work 7 days. I was building a business. I was writing a book, and I was working on mobile apps. So I was, and I would say I was getting up late, and I was only getting up at 8 in the morning. And people say, you got to get up early. I was only getting up like 8 in the morning, but I was working till 2 or 3 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I kept saying to myself, I'm not getting up early. I'm not getting up early enough because, but it was just these long days, and my body told me, dude, you can't do this forever.
Wow. Wow. And I know people who live that way and they don't listen to their bodies even, so it's commendable to even do that.
Yep. And I'm listening to you thinking, I have to admit this, I'm in that stage right now. Really, not as deep into it. So I'm in the point of establishing my business. I'm in that first couple of years. And so I started it in 2014, and I can tell you 2014 and 2015, I spent a lot of time doing exactly that. And I did sacrifice fun, girlfriend time, gone. Some even, I hate to admit this, but sometimes with the boys, with my children, just gone. But I felt like I had to have that focus because I know what I want to do with that, with this business. So I'm 3.5 years in right now, and I don't regret it completely, but I am listening to you. I don't want to get to the point where my body starts to tell me, I don't want to get sick, because I do believe in that mind-body connection.
There is a mind-body
I don't
connection.
want to completely shut down, but I really have it in my mind. I know that this business is going to be extremely successful. So it's ironic to be here, sitting here with you, and I'm taking heat, you know, but I am in that first stage right now. I'm in that stage you were in years ago.
Yes, and you're probably going to be the expert for both of us today because we're in the same, we're kind of in the same boat. But before we go any further, it's time to get into the research.
In the interest of science.
All right, so the first research piece of research or piece of science that I'm going to impart is it's really the grounding philosophy behind the Academy of Creative Coaching. For those of you who don't know, that's my coaching academy where people can be certified to become life coaches. And we have a philosophy that is pulled together that has been derived from my research, and the philosophy is called the creative approach, and we use it as an approach for coaches in order to help their clients solve problems, achieve their goals, get to places that they want to get to in life, and it's pretty much guided by 3 I's: intelligence, inspiration, and innovation. Intelligence, inspiration, and innovation is the manifestation of mind, body, spirit working together, just like you said. And so, the whole idea of mind, body, spirit is not necessarily a new groundbreaking idea, but what we did is we put these concepts together in a practical format that can be used for problem solving. So, for intelligence, we possess the intelligence needed to uncover and resolve our problems. A lot of times we don't realize it. We don't know when we are in the trenches, when we are at our lowest point. We may not always know to dig into the intelligence that's already there and that already exists. And sometimes somebody has to remind us. And sometimes we have to tap into past experiences in which we we're able to resolve our problems. But that intelligence is there, and we do possess it. So from a coaching standpoint, we try to ignite that intelligence that people have that they may not be using at that particular time. But from a personal standpoint, it's important to understand that you do have it. And once you understand that you do have it, one of your C's is competence. When you have that sense of competence, in fact, that's going to cross over into our next theory in the next hour as well. But when you have that sense of competence, you're able to, to move forward. Without it, you just kind of stay stagnant. I don't know how to do it and so forth. The second one is inspiration. And this is more from a spiritual standpoint. In my early part of my career, I called myself an inspirationist, and that didn't just come from some made-up word. There is actually a movement of inspirationists in the 1700s. They came to this country to go away from the whole religious persecution that was happening in Europe, and they believed that they were spoken to spiritually, that God spoke directly to them, as opposed to you have to get everything from a preacher or a priest, that we have a personal connection with God, and that what he says to us is inspiration, and that it guides our purpose. So the idea behind inspiration is that we're driven by inspiration to seek out and discover the purpose in our lives. And the third one quickly is innovation. This means that we have the ability to propel ourselves from where we are today to where we desire our lives to be in the future. We use our bodies to do that as well. So innovation is, for example, an airplane. We know now we can get from one place to another in an airplane. How do we get from one place to another when it comes to our goals and our dreams? What are the practical things we need to put in place to get there? So when we come back, we're going to digest this a little bit, and I would love to hear each of your thoughts on the creative approach. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
What's up, sis?
Nothing. Just sitting here reading about HIV in Atlanta and its surrounding areas. Did you know we're number 8 in the nation?
I know.
You need to get tested.
Nah, I don't get down like that. I'm good.
But you are a ladies' man. You don't know who they're with when they're not with you.
If I need to get tested, so do you.
No, I don't. I'm married.
True, but you don't know who he's with when he's not with you.
Oh, you got jokes. He's not like that.
Fact is, no one really knows what their partner is doing or who their partner is with when they're away.
Well, I'll get tested if you get tested.
Cool. Where can we go?
This article I'm reading says the Lifeline Project of CSB does free HIV testing. Let's go there.
Lifeline Project, here we come.
The Lifeline Project is a SAMHSA grant. For more information on free testing, please call 770-499-2422 or visit us on the web at www.cobcsb.com.
If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we've got I've got to acknowledge some of our Facebook Live folks who are commenting. Donald Kaiser says, very impressive. I don't know who he's impressed with, but we have such a good group of all three of us are pretty awesome, so he could be talking about any one of us. But no, thank you so much for joining us and for listening. I see Darren Pelt. Good morning, Dana World Patterson. How are you? Haven't seen or heard from you in a minute. So good to hear from you. Al Walker, LaShawn Barnes, I'm JL Ford, Darren versus Peter. What's up? So thank you so much for joining us this morning. We were just talking about the creative approach, which incorporates intelligence, inspiration, and innovation as a means for accomplishing our goals, for getting to where we want to get to in life. And the first one, intelligence, really encompasses the mind. Inspiration encompasses the spirit and our purpose in life. And innovation encompasses the body and what we can do to make things happen. Before I continue, because I can go on and on and on and talk about this, did either of you have any insight or want to interject at all?
Funny, so I have this book called The Balancing Act, and it's a workbook. And it talks about your spirit, soul, and body connection. Mm-hmm. And so this is going to be my third time since 2014 going through this workbook. I use a journal so that I'm not writing over the things from last year or the year before that. But I've been studying the importance of the mind. And I say mind/soul. Most people don't know if they understand that your mind and your soul are the same. But the connection on how whatever you're going through mentally affects your body, and how you need to nurture your spirit. So I'll just say this. One of the things that I've been doing in order to balance being a mother and a business owner, and then I have some other obligations, is to make sure that at all times I am nurturing all three of those components. We're tripod beings. Yeah. I make sure that spiritually I'm taking care of myself. Physically, I've been working out, getting back to, because I notice when I'm not working out, then it affects other things.
Everything changes.
Yes, exactly. And then I put the things that I do for this business into the category of my soul and my mind, because it's my purpose. Even though I make sacrifices in order to have the business while balancing other things, I wouldn't want to leave this earth and not fulfill that purpose. So like I said, I put that in the soul category. So this workbook that I've been going through kind of keeps me mindful to never put too much into one and not enough in the other. Always focus on my body, my spirit, and my soul. And that usually helps me not go crazy.
Well, and there are times where we need to, double up on the intelligence or double up on the innovation, depending on what's going on in our lives. But it is good to make sure that we're fulfilling, all three areas.
Exactly. One of the things when we talk about mind, body, and spirit, it helped. Once I learned more about that, it helped me become a better business person.
Yes.
Because being out of balance for so long, thinking that I had to be the innovator, I had to be the chief, I had to be the man, and then that all comes crashing down after a while because I was so out of balance. So when I had to step back and look at it, I had to create better systems. I had to create a better team. So once I created better systems and better teams, I was able to step away and work on me a little more, have a little fun, relax, meditate, and things like that.
Yes.
Even though I've always worked out, there was a time where I worked so much that even when I worked out and I went to the gym, it was still out of balance because the stress of building this business and maintaining the business was overpowering everything else. Yeah. It kept me from sleeping. It kept me from focusing and things like that. So even exercise, things like that.
I can see that you'd be depleting yourself even more. So you're beating yourself all day working, and you're beating yourself in the gym, and then you might get an hour or two of sleep, and then you're back up beating, and then there's so much. You're not feeding as much.
Yes.
Yourself.
Yes, and then one day my project manager, I had a good project manager, and he said, I can handle this. Things that I would always handle, I can handle
Praise
this.
God for project managers. I have an awesome project manager. Shout out, Penny Arrington.
Yes, and my second in command, she was saying, I can handle this. You could relax. I can handle this. And we put in systems in place, and it took this big load off of me.
Yes.
But once it took the big load off of me, the business took off.
Right.
So I stopped working in the business and started working on the business more.
That's beautiful. And, you know, and what that says is there's some element where you have to be willing to let go of something. And I think that's one of the hardest things for business owners to do, because this is our baby.
Exactly.
You know, how do you let go of your baby? How do you, you know, it's like you go through that, you know, you have the baby, you get paternity, maternity leave, you get to stay home with them. Then you got to put the child in childcare. And and that is a hard thing for us to do when it comes to our businesses, to put it in the hands of other people, or elements of it into the hands of other people. But before we go on with that, excellent point, we're going to get into the balance challenge.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
All right, so this week's balance challenge is going to be based on the very point that we just made. This is an off-the-cuff balance challenge, because I had another one, but this is just too good. So, so this week's balance challenge is, I want you to come up, allow somebody else to handle for you this week. Let something go. Because there is no way that every single thing you are doing can only be done by you. And this is a hard thing to do. Now, don't pick something easy. Don't pick something like, you know, well, I'm going to have my kid change the toilet tissue. No. I want you to come up with something that is a little bit of a challenge to let go of, but you got to be smart about it too. Now, that's the other key, is don't just let something go, you know, into the hands of some crazy person, and now you've got this bigger mess. But there are things. I really want you to take some time to evaluate all of the things that you're doing. And is there something that you can allow somebody else to handle for you? Go ahead. Hey, if you want to. Yes.
It hit me in the gut, so I think this is probably going to be my most transparent appearance ever. Can I tell you, the first thing that comes, well, small thing then big thing. Small thing, I sacrifice and have someone come in and clean the house. That's just it. You know, that's small. That's small. I have to.
That's big.
That's it. You know, I will do my own hair so that I can have someone come in and clean the house. And then, as I mentioned earlier, divorced. I have 2 kids, and an ex-husband and his wife, great partners in parenting. I appreciate you guys out there. I allowed my younger son to go live with his father. And I can't say it was a good thing, and it wasn't just about the business. It was just that time in his life where his father could make a bigger impact on his life than I could. So I allowed that to happen, and I know that it played into me being able to balance everything else that's going on. Even giving a little bit more time to my older son, who's getting ready to go to college and needs a little bit more attention right now. Right. So, but still, when I say taking care of the business and all, and me, So that was tough, but that was a letting go. That was wow. I mean, because I'm one of those moms. If you know me, you know I am that hands-on mom. And that was tough for me. It's been tough.
Those are really great examples. Yes. We're going to come right back, and we're going to get into this a little bit more.
Deliberate dumbing down.
Dumb down society. Deliberate dumbing down of America.
Dumb down public. Why would they do this?
Sensation Station Network. Radio, not dumbed down.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
I hate religion. Pretty shocking to hear coming from a pastor, huh? I'm Jasper. This is my wife, Alicia Williams. We would absolutely love to have you come and take a visit.
At the church, we're strictly about relationships. It's about deepening your walk with God. 4845 South Old Peachtree Road, Norcross, Georgia.
Or you can hit us online at www.thechurchinfo.org. Remember, at the church, it's about relationship, not religion.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain. chain, it's a chain reaction. Invest $49 a month at a real gym. For more info, go to facebook.com/Gene's Body Tech.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first. I will never accept defeat. I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough. Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
Enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
Welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are talking work-life balance, and I'm joined and being very much enlightened by Tarshish Jordan and Dr. Greg Shealey. Did I say that right? Shealey. I'm sorry. And our balance challenge for this week was to let go of something. And Tarshish just talked about the couple of things that she let go, one of which was house cleaning. And let it go. Like, if you can, if it's something you can sacrifice. If you say, you know what, I'm going to do my own hair, my own nails, I'll use that money to have somebody come in and straighten up and stuff every couple of hours. You know, that is something that can be a huge relief. For you and for me as well. My son went to live with his dad senior year of high school, and it wasn't like, oh, I need to just get rid of you.
No.
It's what's, where the child is at that time. Mm-hmm. If they have the other parent is actively involved, there is no guilt in letting that child, because they're the parent too. Mm-hmm. And so if it's always a blessing when you have a connection with the other parent that enables you all to share in the responsibilities. And so, Greg, you also mentioned during the break, so I'm telling what we talked about during the break, but you also mentioned giving away the cleaning. And go ahead.
Gave it up. I had to give it up. One, I wasn't good at it anyway. And I stressed over it all the time. And someone, a friend of mine said, give that up. Yeah. Give that up. Just don't think about that when you got enough on your plate. But there was something I thought about giving up. Like in our company, estimating projects. I mean, I've had 4 different project managers and things like that, and it's one of those things in my field that's considered kind of difficult, and I'm the only one who can estimate. In 12 years, I am the only one who can estimate, and I've been saying, hey, I can give that to my project manager, and he wants to estimate.
Hello!
Yeah.
But I still get out and estimate every project. Over 800 projects I have estimated.
Oh, wow.
And I'm giving it up.
You're giving it up.
I was going to say, so that's today.
I'm giving it up.
Live on the air, you're saying you're giving it up.
My project manager, Eric Williams, will be estimating.
You hear that, Eric? You hear that, Eric? Hold us to it.
I love it. So what is that going to do for you?
Probably cause a little stress at first.
There's an adjustment period.
Yeah, there is an adjustment period because you estimate wrong, you eat the cost.
Right.
But it'll just free me up to grow the business more. I've been actively on the backside growing the fundamentals, the financial side of the business, so we can do bigger and larger, much larger projects. So I've been actively working on those type of things. So if I could take this one thing off my plate, I can really work outside the business on building the financial side of the business, lines of credits and things like that, so we can take on larger projects. We want to eventually start building out whole subdivisions and things like that. Whoa. And we're ready for that. We are just primed and ready. We cut our teeth and things like that, and we are ready out there. We have great relationships with banks and things like that. We just have to get the funding in place. So if I'm not out there estimating, I could focus on those things a little bit more.
You can be the brains behind the operation.
That's right.
Be creative, exactly.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And that's and the reason why this was such a, I thought this has to be the challenge, even though it was a off-the-cuff challenge, is because that is one of the things that I have been, you know how people were telling you need to take a vacation, you need to take a vacation? That's not a problem for me. If I can take a vacation, I'm going to take a vacation. I'm gone. In fact, I'm trying to be gone next month. I'm trying to be gone for Thanksgiving. But, you know, so I don't have a problem with that. But what I do have a problem with is letting certain aspects of my business go. So even if I'm on vacation, I'm still going to be working. You know, like, so I'll take a vacation, but I'll sit on the beach and kind of brainstorm some ideas on my cell phone. And, you know, so I still am working, but I'm not stressed. But what I can let go is what people have been telling me to do is, and I'm telling you, left and right, I have, you know, 7 or 8 faculty that work for the Academy of Creative Coaching, and I have my, I just have a really great team of people, and they're all telling me, Dr. Pam, I can do that. Dr. Pam, I can do that.
Exactly.
Dr. Pam, you don't need to do this. And I have begun over the last several months to divvy out these things to other people. So at one time, I was the financial director. I was the course curriculum writer. I was the instructor for a while. I was everything. And people are like, "What do you need us to do?" You know, I just had somebody meet with me last Friday, and she said, "Dr. Pam, you haven't called me to ask me to do anything above and beyond what I've been doing. I'm here. I can do it." And so that is I need to be able to and willing to spread the wealth.
Yeah. Delegate, yes.
Yes.
And then I'll say my challenge has been in the past, but I'm getting a little bit better. I'll delegate. I got to the point where I could finally delegate, but then going back and making sure that they did exactly right.
Follow up.
So exactly.
So
and just not been as meticulous about it. Trusting the people that I've put in place to really handle the job that I've delegated to them.
And that's been my thing. So there's a key word. If we have like a word of a day, the word of the day would be project manager. Ding, 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 ding.
Yay. I have the best.
Yeah.
I have the best project manager in America.
I love it. And
He's getting you ready.
So all of you, I recommend getting a project manager. I don't know. I don't care what industry you're in. There is something that a project manager can do for you. And so that has changed my life. Really close associate, cousin, Penny Arrington is a project manager, PMP. Is that what behind? Yes, and I call her a pimp. And she has, she and I published coloring books together, and she project managed that. We work for, or she helps me with the Academy of Creative Coaching. She project manages with that. And she wants the stuff. She said, all the stuff that you hate doing, that you are like, oh, I love it. And so she has taught me to utilize project managers because they love conceptualizing a project from beginning to end and making it happen.
Yes. Yeah, I always say there's the best compliment to a big picture person. I'm a big picture person.
And that's me.
Big
I am.
The best is a detailed person.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
anytime I'm working on anything, give me a detailed person.
Right.
Let me be a visionary. Let me be innovative and creative. And I need that person to go behind me.
Yes.
And the best projects I've ever worked on always happen when I'm coupled with someone like that.
Well, they also can be the go-between between you and all the people you need to check in with. So then all you need to do is check in with that project manager.
Yep.
And you don't have to worry about all of the details, so it's a beautiful thing. That is the word of the day, ladies and gentlemen, project manager.
Project manager.
All right, so we are going to go into the love notes.
Love Notes with Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so I received a note that I am just going to summarize because it's not here on my screen as I had expected. But basically, there is a young lady who is a business owner, and she has 3 kids. She's very busy, and she is wanting to know what are the top 3 tips that you all have about balancing the work that she does, because she's also a full-time employee. So she has her full-time job, she's starting a business, She has 3 kids. She gets a lot of criticism that she's doing too much. She's overambitious, but she doesn't really see any other way of accomplishing what she's trying to accomplish with the full-time job. So how does she manage all that she's doing? What are some tips that we all may have to help her out?
Oh, that's an easy one for me. I would say every day she can work on growing your business, but every single day that she can work on getting out of your business. Work on getting out of your business, because you will end up creating systems in place. The only way you can get out of your business if you have great systems in place.
Yes.
So if you, keyword of the day, you have a good project manager and you train your good project manager well on your goals and your big picture, then every single day that person can get better and you can get out of the business a little more, and you could delegate things to that person, and you could have more free time for your kids. So work on growing the business, but you grow the business by working on getting out of the business. And work on not working in the business, but working on the business.
Right. That's really great. I love that.
Yeah, like that just sounds like having an end game in mind as you're going through the process. Yeah. Well, I'll say, love project manager. Until you get to that point where you can have a project manager, be a project manager. And I spent 26 years working as someone else, and one of those positions in that 26 years was being a project manager and a business analyst. So I definitely brought those skills and techniques over to my strategies into my personal business. So until if you're at the very beginning stages of starting your small business, I'll tell you, be very, very, very strategic. You can't be everywhere. About the decisions you make and who you're going to meet with and what you're going to do to market your business. Write everything down. I actually keep. I know everyone, and I'm a technical person. I put everything in my calendar. If it's not in my calendar, it's pretty much not done.
Yeah,
you know?
It doesn't exist.
Yeah,
If it doesn't.
I live on my calendar. I was also going to say that when it comes to writing, I keep that old school organizer in my purse. It's my wallet. What's his name? Stephen Covey. And I buy a new set of planner pages every year. I write everything down. So now I'm at the point where I do have some help. But I remember 2 years ago when I didn't, so I had to be extremely organized. So my phone, use technology. There's several different apps out there. If nothing else, just your calendar. It'll help you stay organized. I keep each month, the beginning of each month, I put a big poster on my home office wall that says what I want to accomplish for the year. And to that lady and I'm going to tell you, and this is going to show my strengths and my weaknesses. In the middle, I put the information for the business, and on each side, I've got the information for the boys. A friend of mine saw that and said, "Hey, there's nothing on there for you," but that's another story.
Yes.
But just being very strategic. You can't do everything. You can't go everywhere. You're going to have to tell some people no. Really evaluate every opportunity. Is this opportunity something that I can monetize? Is this opportunity something that can later give me a return on my investment? Because your time is just as important as your money. So that's it. Tip, be extremely organized, be very strategic and eliminate things that you cannot take with you. And then the third tip that I would give, you said 3 tips, really take a strong look at the people around you, your support system. I had to start asking for help. I had to start asking friends and family, "Hey, would you mind taking my son to this event so that I can do this and I'll pick him up?"
Yes.
Practical things like that.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, that's so important.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Oh, I have a chapter in my book called The Lazy Businessman. It's one of my favorite chapters in my book. It's The Lazy Businessman. And it talks about creating systems in place, putting systems in place, and it compares and contrasts a businessman and a busy man.
Ooh,
and
I love it.
A lot of people, they create these companies or they create this business, and they become a busy man
or woman.
Busy person.
Yeah. No, but I get it. I identify.
But once you have systems in place and become a businessman, it's a whole different dynamic. And I always say there's a difference between being self-employed and being in business. And the rule of thumbs I use for being self-employed and being in business, I said, if you can go away for 30 days and come back and your business is still working,
I love it.
Or it's better, you're in business.
Oh,
but if you go away for 30 days and your business slowed down or it stopped,
shut down,
you were self-employed. Wow. So in terms of the lazy businessman, is once you put systems in place and you have checks and balances, you can go away and you have the opportunity to be lazy. See, right now I have approximately X amount of workers, probably like 20 people who are working for my business right now. And I'm doing this radio show. But I could be sitting on this couch being lazy with my feet kicked up, and that business would still be running, and we would still be creating revenue. Because over the last few years, we have these checks and balances and systems that are in place. If I call my project manager, if I call my VP, if I said, as soon as I call them, they'll say, hey, we're doing this and we're doing that, what do we need and we do that. And my project manager, he would start rattling off, hey, the plumber's here, the electrician's here, something, we're missing this, we're missing that. Because we know the system. We know the system. So I have the opportunity to be lazy. Now, I always say a business goal, one of your number one business goals should be to be lazy. Have the opportunity to be lazy.
My business wants to grow up and be like you.
Yeah, you need to create, and the only way you're able to do that if you have the systems in place and you have the checks and balances in place. And you can be sitting on that couch right there with your feet kicked up and you'll still be making money. But if you don't have those systems in place and checks and balances, you sit up on that couch and the business falls apart.
Did you guys hear that?
Yes.
I want you to hashtag that.
Yes.
I don't even know what the small hashtag phrase is.
Yes.
But your business goal is to be lazy. Because you can. Yep. Right? Now, that is excellent advice. I think that is, and I'm loving your talk about systems. I think that's something that a lot of us can benefit from. The whole idea of seeing the big pictures. Now we have the visionary folks, like myself. I have these great big visions and these great ideas, and I can map up the best of the ideas. But then there's that need to develop a system.
Exactly. See, I'm like that too. I'm a big picture guy, and I'm horrible at small details. But the people I have in place, my second in command, Renee Johnson, she is the best on details. So I come up with the big picture, and I come up with the framework, and I just give it off to them. And they say, we need to do this, we need to do this. And this person will say, we need to do this, and we need to do this. And my assistant will say, they'll plug in the smaller things. They'll plug in these things. So I can always get out of the business and focus on growing the business.
I want to grow up. No, my business wants to grow up. I'm on the road to that. Yeah, we got the systems in place. Or I'm saying, I'm getting the systems in place. I do understand that, but
a good friend of mine. He's my accountant, my CPA, and he's a good friend of mine, Martin Hubbard. He says it all the time to me. He said, you hire your weaknesses. You hire your weaknesses.
Yes.
If he was standing right here in front of me, if he was standing right here, even though the business is doing, he would say, Shealey, hire your weaknesses.
Yes.
Hire your weaknesses.
Yes.
And he says it over and over and over because he's a good friend.
And you know what is so crazy? Is I've got my weaknesses all just standing in a row, ready to go, and I'm just like, not using it, not using them. I've got the people that I have in place represent each and every one of my weaknesses. And I am still hustling and grinding and doing all of the work. And I've got willing, amazing, talented people ready to go.
Okay, do you think that's control or because
I'm a control freak.
Yeah,
I am a control freak.
Yeah. And it's good and it's good and bad because you wouldn't be where you are if you did exactly. Because I know that's
some elements
part of my personality.
But we got to check it, Okay, we got to go to break because I really want to go on. Tell us your book before we go to break, real quick. Again,
The App Millionaire.
The App Millionaire.
How to make sleep money with a micro business. Excellent book. Rated 5 stars on Amazon, 4 stars on Audible.
I love it. Okay,
I purchased it, and he's got to sign it for me.
We will be right back.
Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. We are now at the top of the second hour. How fast did that go? top of the second hour, and we are talking about balance. And my gosh, this is just such good information. I have two guests here with me today, Tarshish Jordan and Dr. Greg Shealey, and we are here just to really, I'm learning a lot more than I'm dishing out today, but really to talk about what it means to balance your life. Now, everybody may not own businesses, but we all have certain elements of our lives that can use some modification, that can use some balance, that we can give some of the stuff that we do away and become lazy. And
my goal is to become lazy.
And be lazy. Yes. Now, for those of you who are just joining us, there is some very good context behind the philosophy of being lazy. We are not going against the book of Proverbs that very deeply talks about not being lazy. We're talking about being smart about what we do.
Exactly.
So that we can reap what we sow, if we want to go biblical. And so we were just talking about how, we were talking about so many things, but we were talking about how it's important to delegate and to allow the people who, you want to hire your weaknesses. You want to make sure that, those are the people that are a part of your team. I think it's really interesting when people want to hire a team or have a team and be the leader and yet want to outsmart everybody or act like they are the king supreme or the queen supreme. That doesn't serve you well. No. When you behave that way. Have either of you either been guilty of that or have experienced that?
I won't say that. Never been guilty of wanting to appear like I know more than everyone. It's the thing that the business is so important to me. Truly is my third child. It's my baby. So if I put any element of that business in your hands, I need to know that you're going to take care of it the same way I would want you to take care of my children. So
you have to vet them.
Exactly. So if I'm over-possessive about any responsibility that I've delegated out to team members, then it's because I really want to make sure that you understand how important this is to me. There's no ego in it.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. That's important. What's important?
I thought I knew so much, and when I was growing the business and I was adding people on, I just had this ego that I know so much because I read so much about how to be successful in business, and I didn't trust that some of the people that I was hiring would have that level of, level of interest on growing the business as I did. So I would step in on so many things, and I know I was annoying. Now I look back, I would know I was really annoying. But
transparency on this show.
But another thing is, I had so much money invested in the business. I had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in the business, so I was so scared to allow someone to take ownership of this or take ownership of that because they weren't financially invested and they may not have been mentally invested as I was. But once you learn people and people's goals and you hire the right people, you'll find out that some people are just as invested in the success as you are.
Yes,
especially in their little space. If it's your bookkeeper, they may be more invested on making sure that your books are perfect than you are. You might say, "Oh,
that's their pride and joy." And
that's how I love it. So can I ask him a question?
Please.
So Dr. Greg, Dr. Shealey, how do you get those employees as invested? Are you teaching them about your vision? You're taking time to really train them?
Oh, things that I did, I empowered them. Instead of coming up with, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to move this direction, we would have meetings, and I would ask questions. Where do you think we should go? Or where do you think we're making mistakes? How would you do this? And how would you do that? And I would implement things that some of the team would say, their advice and their goals, and I would implement those things. And then I have incentive programs. If we hit this, you get that. If you hit this, you get that. But one of the things I'm finding is, and I'm motivated by money, But one of the things I'm finding is my team isn't always motivated by money. They're a lot of times they're motivated by the success. And I give when we're successful, we get awards all the time. You know, from cities and things like that we do work for, and I always give all the credit to other people. You know, other people. I don't need the credit. I need the paycheck.
Check, you got the money. Where's the credit? We got the money.
Some people do want that. That's the accolades.
Yeah. Wow. That's really great. So we're going to go to another break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Give us a call, 678-613-5857, if you have anything to add to this conversation. Be right back.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Hi, I'm Harold Dennis, and I'm running for the office of DeKalb County Sheriff. I believe that there is a brighter future for DeKalb County, and as your sheriff, I will take a tough stance against those who choose to violate our laws and remain actively involved in building a rapport with our youth, which will combat the increasingly violent crimes committed by their peers. This will increase the value of our community in which I was proudly born and raised. Allow me the opportunity to continue my philosophy of public service and building a sound and responsive sheriff's office. Harold Dennis. Vote for me November 8th for DeKalb County Sheriff. And let's take DeKalb back. I'm Harold Dennis, and I approve this message.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. I want to be a warm place on a cold day. Football stadium. I want to be a bike that races around the country. I want to be a bench on a forest trail. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guides us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
I am an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined.
Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier. There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
Primary election.
Lack of diversity.
Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and trending topics. Well, I don't know how many of you have been following what's going on with the North Dakota pipeline, and there is, for those of you who don't know, the protesters have been camped out at the reservation, since April protesting the creation of an oil pipeline that members of the Standing Rock tribe and their supporters say would damage sacred sites and natural resources. So over the weekend, I don't know if any of you noticed your friends checking in to Facebook from the Standing Rock Reservation, and that was it to stand in solidarity with the tribe, because what happened, from my understanding, was that they weren't properly consulted about doing the work, on the land, and the land is sacred burial grounds. So this issue has been going on for a while, but only now has it started to really rise and get a lot of publicity. I've been following it for quite some time, and I'm noticing. I was pleasantly surprised when I saw a few friends of mine checking in at the different, I was like, wait, is she really there? Is she really there? And because the first friend that I saw check in is a pretty strong social justice advocate. So I was like, look at her. She went and got on a plane and went out there to Standing Rock. Wow. But she didn't. It turned out that it was a movement for everybody to check in at the reservation, and it started off because there was a rumor that police officers the sheriff department was monitoring Facebook check-ins in that area to be able to kind of break up whatever was going on. But that was kind of said to be a rumor and not true. In my opinion, whether or not it's a rumor, I think it was a pretty awesome, strong stand of solidarity for the tribe. Now, there was, I checked it myself when I checked in, I think there was about, I don't know, maybe 4,500 people that had been to the Standing Rock Reservation, and then after, it was like 181,000 or something like that had checked in. I mean, it was a pretty significant jump, and I'm pretty sure I got those numbers wrong, because I'm doing it off of memory right now. It's not in front of me, but that was a pretty significant. This is the power of social media. Sometimes is pretty astounding. And then the second trending topic that I have to talk about was Joy Behar from The View. I love her because she's so outspoken and she just says whatever she wants to say. Basically, she's upset, and I'm upset too, and I've expressed this many times on the show. Why? And I'm not saying that, the emails I'm talking about Hillary Clinton's emails. I'm not saying they shouldn't be investigated. But why are we investigating that and spending so much time on that and talking about that, and nobody's talking about the fact that Donald Trump has a scheduled court date for a rape of a 13-year-old girl that is happening in December. The court date is scheduled. This is not just some random accusation. This is something where they are actually taking this to trial. So in the same sense that Hillary Clinton's being investigated and has had to undergo FBI investigations, and we're talking about it, why are we not talking about the sexual assault, not just sexual assault, this rape of a 13-year-old girl? And I've read the details of this rape, and I read it back in April, and it is pretty awful. It's pretty awful, and it's pretty gruesome, and this is not the only one. This is just the one that's going to trial right now. I just don't know why that's not being talked about.
All of it, honestly, it seems like a diversionary tactic to me.
Yes.
From them talking about the real issues. Not to say that the rape isn't a real issue, because that's serious, extremely serious.
Right.
But honestly, I wish that they would both focus a little bit more on, the policies that they're going to implement in order to make the country great again, or to bring us all. I know they're two different taglines. Let's do this together. So just focus on the issues. But
well, and I think we need to focus on the issues. That's not happening. We also do need to vet these candidates and understand who these people are and what. I think their values and their integrity is important, but we are not hearing issues. We're not hearing plans, solid plans. I had my students do an assignment where I'm teaching a higher education finance class right now. And I had the students research each of the candidates, 4 of them. So this includes Jill Stein and Gary Johnson, and tell us what is their plan for higher education. And none of them had only Hillary Clinton had a bulleted, concrete plan for higher education. Here's what I'm going to do. what was missing from her plan was how we're going to pay for this. But none of the other candidates had a plan for higher education. Donald Trump's only plan was, we're going to stop or reduce the amount of financial aid and loans that we give to students who are in the humanities, because those majors don't make money. But we're going to give more money to those who are in the other more lucrative fields. And so placing and I'm sure that can be very strongly argued, if people are focusing on the bottom line. Back in the 50s and 60s, we had a lot of measures put in place to basically intellectualize the country, and that was the value of education. So in some ways, the bottom line is great, but do we still want an intellectual, society in some ways? So we have to go to break. I can go on and on and on about that, but so we'll be right back.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech.
Hey, Teddy, why is investing important?
Most people have goals that they're trying to reach in life that has something to do with growing their assets. That's a problem that we have in our community because we don't take enough risk to actually grow our assets to meet our expectations.
So how does Parish Capital help me?
I see myself as a world-class investor. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I'm here to bring a transparent, low-fee strategy so people understand what they're getting into when they invest. $1 today is not worth the same as $1 tomorrow. You can go to my website at parishcapital.com or call us at 800-618-1940.
Invest your money.
Ignore the noise, stay focused, and prosperity be unto you.
I hate religion. Pretty shocking to hear coming from a pastor, huh? I'm Jasper. This is my wife, Alicia Williams. We would absolutely love to have you come and take a visit.
At the church, we're strictly about relationships. It's about deepening your walk with God. 4845 South Old Peachtree Road, Norcross, Georgia.
Or you can hit us online at www.thechurchinfo.org. Remember, at the church, it's about relationship, not religion.
In the interest of science. Science.
Okay, so just to give you a little bit more science, I've shared this theory before, but it's one of my favorites, and I've used it in my own research, and I think that it's very applicable to what we're doing. I think, or what we're talking about today, we're talking about life balance, but we're also looking at ambition and accomplishing our goals and making things happen, and I don't think that there's a better fitting theory for that than self-determination theory. And self-determination theory was developed by Deci and Ryan, and the publications that I refer to are in 2001, and they basically posit that their theory is so multidimensional. When I first came across this theory, it was just this one theory. And now they've got a whole website and so many different versions of this theory. And if you're interested, it's selfdeterminationtheory.org or .com, one or the other. But self-determination theory, it basically posits that there's 3 basic psychological needs that we have to have fulfilled in order to be self-determined people. So we are born self-determined. We're born self-determined, and this is proven in the way that we push ourselves out of our mother. We help in that process. We are determined to get out. When we are hungry as infants, we make it known that we're hungry. We scream and we cry until we get what we need. When we are trying to walk, we do everything that we can to pull up, and we do not give up until we take those steps. So the idea is that we were born self-determined. What happens is that when we lose out on one of the 3 psychological needs, it wears on our self-determination. So those 3 psychological needs is autonomy, relatedness, and competence. So us having a sense of autonomy basically means that I am free to think and move in the direction that I want to move. I have a goal that I want to do, and nothing is holding me back from that. And so it's a sense of autonomy. It means that I know that I have the freedom to move in this direction, because you can have a lot of autonomy and not know it. So autonomy is the first one. The second psychological need is relatedness. And relatedness means having people in your life who you can connect to, who support you, who you can talk to, who love you. I love associating love with the relatedness piece of it. And then the last one is competence. And that's basically knowing that you have the capacity, the ability to do, you have the skill set needed to make it happen. And so I applied this theory to first-generation students who wanted to go to college. And in my research, it showed strongly that every last student in my study very strongly had all three psychological needs fulfilled in their lives. And there were times where maybe the relatedness didn't come from a parent directly. It may have come from, I have one case where the students, both of their parents, the father wasn't there, and the mother was jealous of her and would always put her down for trying to go to college, but she had her grandmother. So somebody always had somebody, so they all had somebody that they can turn to have all three of those psychological needs met. So when you are pursuing your goals, think about those three psychological needs and whether or not you have each of those fulfilled in your life in some way. So do you have a sense of competence? Are there things that you want to accomplish, but are you thinking, nah, I don't really have the skill set, or I really can't do this? What do you need to do to get your competence in place? What is it that you need to take classes? That may very well be the case. Do you need to reevaluate your skill set? Do you need to reevaluate your goal? Are you focusing on something that reflects your strengths? When it comes to autonomy, in my case, when I was married, I didn't feel like I had a lot of autonomy. I had to steal the autonomy. I had to take the autonomy. When I wanted to go get my PhD, my husband was not very supportive of the idea. But I made it happen anyway. I said, you know what? I created my own autonomy. I could have very well been 100% submissive and said, you know, babe, you don't want me to do it, I won't do it. But I was a little rebellious, and and I went ahead and did it anyway. But what I did, though, is I made concessions to make it possible to live in peace in our household while doing it. So when I did my studies, I did everything at night after he went to bed, and after I did my wifely duties, and I took every Friday off for the whole year to write my dissertation. I took all my vacation time to do that. So I never studied in front of him or in front of the family. It was my way of making it possible while keeping peace in the household. And so there was a lot of, so there's a lot of people who have goals, and it's important to check those three things. I definitely had the relatedness. I did have the support of friends and family when I was embarking on that journey. So again, the three psychological needs are relatedness, competence, and autonomy. Yeah. Well, thoughts? Big. Okay, well, we have to go to break, but I want to hear your thoughts on that when we come back. And yeah, we'll be back.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to save.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda, that's $10,012. Please drive around.
10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
What's up, sis?
Nothing. Just sitting here reading about HIV in Atlanta and its surrounding areas. Did you know we're number 8 in the nation?
I know.
You need to get tested.
Nah, I don't get down like that. I'm good.
But you are a ladies' man. You don't know who they're with when they're not with you.
If I need to get tested, so do you.
No, I don't. I'm married.
True, but you don't know who he's with when he's not with you.
Oh, you got jokes. He's not like that.
Fact is, no one really knows what their partner is doing or who their partner is with when they're away.
Well, I'll get tested if you get tested.
Cool. Where can we go?
This article I'm reading says the Lifeline Project of CSB does free HIV testing. Let's go there.
Lifeline Project, here we come.
The Lifeline Project is a SAMHSA grant. For more information on free testing, please call 770-499-2422 or visit us on the web at www.cobbcsb.com.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Uncle Dan? Mom? Dad? If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside. Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over. As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Back to Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we are talking about life balance, but I just shared a theory called self-determination theory, and just to quickly recap what it is, Desi and Ryan posit that we have to have 3 psychological needs in place in order to remain self-determined people, and those 3 needs are competence, relatedness, and autonomy. I'm curious to know, as you all are pursuing your goals, do you have those 3 things in place, and did you notice at any point when you struggled that one of them may have been missing?
There was a time where all 3 of those were missing from me. And I had an older sister, Lorraine. See, I'm first generation graduate. Me too. And I had an older sister, and when I was coming out of high school, things like that, I was just like, hopefully I can get a good job and live. But she's seen something in me, you know. She's always seen something in me, and she would speak higher things into me, you know.
That's awesome.
She would speak it into me. You can do this. You can go to college. I'll help you out. You know, she said it as matter of factly, and I have 4 college degrees. I have associates, bachelor's, master's, and PhD, and a certificate. So, at first, when she was speaking this into me, I was like, I can get an associate's degree.
Yeah.
You know, it was like the biggest thing in the world. I was like, but she would speak it into me that, oh, you're not going to be satisfied. I know you won't be satisfied. There's more out there for you. And I got another degree, and she said, "That's great. You know, that's great. There's more." But she kept speaking bigger things into me. And once I moved to Atlanta really changed how I thought about life.
What brought you to Atlanta?
I always say I didn't move to Atlanta. I escaped from Pittsburgh. I just, it was my sister saying that there's a world out there. You can do things. And I just had this job, and I was trying to get an associate's degree up there. And I said, hey, I'm going to take this associate's degree, and I'm going to change the world. And I moved to Atlanta, and I remember when I went to Georgia State, and there was these two young guys sitting in the quad, and they were talking about life. And they weren't bragging or anything like that. And one guy was talking about he's going to law school, he's going to open up this. He had it all planned out. And the other one said he's going to medical school, he's going to open up his medical practice, and he had it all planned out. And I was listening, eavesdropping on our conversation, and I said, I think too small. I said, I think too small. Wow. I said, these young guys are thinking so big, and that's how I need to think. And I started thinking bigger. And that's, as soon as I left, I went and I started talking to a counselor on how do you get a master's degree, and what do you need to do to get a master's degree, and things like that, and shut off. I mean, my confidence and my goals and my focus, I mean, it just shot.
Wow.
It does that.
And with two things. That's why I'm a huge advocate of leaving the small town and really just jumping into something new, just to try it, just to broaden your horizons. And even if it's a big town, if you grew up here in Atlanta, try something different. Put yourself around different people, just to kind of see what you may not have, things you may not have heard of before. And the other thing is, just based on what I hear about your story, where you were, at the point or prior to your sister pouring into you, you are not the same man that you are now that's doing all the things that you're doing. It sounds like a very different mindset, that occurred.
Let me correct. I was that. She saw it in me. It wasn't.
It hadn't been manifest.
It wasn't manifest. She saw it in me, and she said, "You have this in you.
Yes.
You have this greatness in you. You can do big things, and you can do big things." Like
I love it.
When I was getting I'm most proud of my associate's degree.
Me too.
Because it was
I know.
hard. I was most proud.
Deal.
I was a low C student. I got my bachelor's degree. I was a B student. When I got my master's degree, I was like 3.7. When I got my PhD, I was a 4.0 student. But I was the 4.0 student when I got the associate's degree, but I didn't know it. I didn't feel it. When I was so confident when I got my PhD.
Yes.
When I mean I was so confident, every class I said up front, in the middle, every question I was almost always the first one to raise my hand. When I raised my hand, I stood up and gave the answer.
Yes,
and things
you're
like
that student. I was too. Everybody hated us.
Yeah, they did. They hated. I mean, when I was in biomechanics, when there was formulas, and biomechanics is like physics. When there were questions, I was so confident. I mean, when I mean so confident in myself, I felt so good about myself. There's times where he would ask a question, I would say, "Can I come up to the board
and show you guys
and show you the formula, and this is how you do it?" And that's what my sister saw in.
Yeah,
she saw that in me.
Amazing. Time for you to see yourself. So I'll say this: I swear I can relate. Got to Atlanta, moved to Atlanta in 1996, right after the Olympics. Didn't have a college degree. My goal truly was to get a good job and just be able to go from day to day.
Yes.
That Atlanta push. So I moved here from the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland Bay Area. There, just having in my environment there, it was good enough to just have a good job. So it wasn't until I got to Atlanta, and people would always ask, like you heard those guys, overheard the conversation. For me, it was a constant question that I didn't feel good about answering. People saying, "Where'd you go to school? Where'd you go to school?"
Common. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Assumptions.
Exactly. and here in Atlanta, but I never got that before. And it just kept nagging at me. I was like, well, dang, I really need to do something for myself. I need to do something to improve my life. So I went and that was it. And I can't tell you the exact day that it happened, but when it was embarrassing for me, and I was never embarrassed before, it was embarrassing for me to say, I didn't go to college. That's why, and it's not for everyone, but the fact that I was embarrassed by it says to me there was an innate,
there was something,
I needed to do more. So then I went ahead, and I swear I worked my butt off. Because by the time, like I said, by the age 29, I moved here when I was 26. By age 29, I started. By that time, I had my first child, ended up getting pregnant, with my second child while I was in school. It was tough there were times when I actually could only take one class per quarter/semester in order to get through that degree. But you talked about confidence. When I got, and let me tell you this, I was that person, not necessarily wanting to get up and answer all the questions, but I knew myself. In order for me to perform in that manner, to know it like the back of my hand, to have that competence, I knew myself. I have to read the chapter twice.
Yeah.
If I didn't get, and my degree was in computer information systems, my, like the IT background, then project management. But basically, my confidence level skyrocketed. And it was first the associate's degree, and then when I got that Cisco certification, I don't know if you guys know anything about IT.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, it was like my shoulders were squared, and I was walking around, really feeling good about myself. And I was like, okay, I'm good. You can get an IT, because in IT field, you guys know, you can get an IT and make a pretty good salary with just an associate's and a certification. But then again, that knowing was still there, I just wasn't satisfied. When that question would come, I was still a little bit by. And not that it was so much of, because I don't believe in living to please others,
right.
Because I'll tell you now, if someone asks me, I say, bachelor's degree, just as proud as I want to be, you cannot push me any further.
Right.
But honestly, so really proud, my career, and I say financially, really progressed with the IT and the certification. But there was still something in me to push to say go further. And then I went back and got the bachelor's degree. So I'm really happy with that and feeling confident about it. But a lot of it was back to moving to Atlanta. I mean, it was like the catalyst.
Yeah.
I think it's exposure. I always say, in order for us to, drive and determine competence, what did you say?
Autonomy.
Autonomy. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, autonomy. Let me say this real quick. Get this in here. I know that. I love my family if you're listening, but moving away from my family and friends.
Yeah.
And I moved here. I had no family and friends.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that was it. So that autonomy, then getting the competence that I needed, that drive and determination, that's why I'm where I am now. And I can honestly say I'm extremely happy with my life, but I couldn't confidently, authentically make that comment if I hadn't done those things up to years now. Yeah.
Well, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about autonomy and moving away and isolating yourself to do what you have to do to accomplish your goals. So we'll be right back.
I love you guys.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guides us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more tax-free driving tips, visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Hey, Teddy, why is investing important?
Most people have goals that they're trying to reach in life that has something to do with growing their assets. That's a problem that we have in our community because we don't take enough risk to actually grow our assets to meet our expectations.
So how does Parish Capital help me?
I see myself as a world-class investor. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I'm here to bring a transparent, low-fee strategy so people understand what they're getting into when they invest. $1 today is not worth the same as $1 tomorrow. You can go to my website at parishcapital.com or call us at 800-618-1940.
Invest your money.
Ignore the noise, stay focused, and prosperity be unto you.
This is what legends are made of. This is what legends are made of.
As long as I see that fire in your eyes, I know we still good.
I do it off of the love.
We built this family, and this family's strong.
On Fox.
This is big business. This is the American way.
Station Network.
See ya.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. This week's Balance Challenge is about letting something go. So I want you all, and we talked about this in the first segment, but I want you all to think about something that you're doing, that you're hoarding, that you won't let go of, that somebody else can do for you. Because when we talk about balance, we need to understand that we can't or shouldn't, we probably can, but we shouldn't do everything. We shouldn't try to do everything. So whether it is your business that you're running, the household that you're running, the company that you work for, what is something that you can let go of and clear up a little time for yourself? In the first hour, I shared that I have an awesome team of people, and one of which, Caroline Donahue from my publishing company, Tandem Light Press, she always offers, what can I do? What can I do? She's our executive editor, and I never pass anything on to her, and so that's one of the things that I need to do, that I've decided I'm going to do a better job of taking things off my plate and letting my team who wants to handle it. So that's this week's challenge. And we've talked about, house cleaning. Like if we have an opportunity to relinquish the house cleaning to give ourselves a little peace of mind and let a professional crew come in and do that, it's, and it is affordable these days. I know trust me, I understand broke. I do. But there are ways to make it happen. Like Tarshish just talked about, she's going to do her own hair, her own nails, and let somebody else come in and use that money to clean the house. I've sacrificed things like I'm just not going to, take myself to my favorite, restaurant and go to Groupon. They've got great deals on Groupon, and just make it a one-time thing. If you need to just do that one time, you might get addicted, but
Exactly.
Give it a try. So, no, but we were talking about just in relation to the theory, self-determination theory, autonomy, relatedness, what was the other one? Autonomy, relatedness, competence. Yes. And those are the three basic psychological needs to help us accomplish a goal. And with Tarshish and Greg's stories, they both talked about moving away and isolating. Maybe isolating isn't the right word, but moving away and really putting themselves in a new environment, and that was something that really changed their worldview about what they were going to do with their lives and their approach to how they were going to live their lives. And I have a story too. So because I think there are so many people that are afraid to leave their environments, that they really miss out. So if you're listening and watching right now and you're contemplating uprooting and moving and doing something different, I highly encourage it. In fact, be bold. Go to another country even, but try something outside of the box and watch your life change. When I was 18, I got pregnant, and I was in a very toxic relationship, and it just wasn't good. It was borderline abusive, and I had to get out of it. And the relationship with my parents and I was very rocky. And when I do my speaking engagements, I tell this story very different. That was usually the punchline, that I got pregnant. So I kind of messed up the story. But I had very strict parents, and so they would not let me go to dances. They wouldn't let me go to events and that kind of thing. And so when I was in college, I had to live with my parents. I got accepted to all these colleges, and they wouldn't let me go. And, you're not going anywhere. You're staying here at home. So I stayed at home, and lo and behold, I got pregnant. So, and that was the very fear that they had would happen if I went off to college. And pregnancy, by the way, I was not some wild kid. Pregnancy happened the very first time.
What?
The very first time. So I was the good girl. And lo and behold, things happen, I guess. So what I had to do to get out of that rocky relationship, and even to just kind of separate myself from my parents for a while, though they're great parents, I had to, you can tell they're listening, right? So I had to literally uproot and move myself out of town. And and when we talk about competence, relatedness, autonomy, my parents did an excellent job of instilling competence. I was told my whole life, oh, you're so smart, you're so pretty, you're so this, you're so that. I was told that my whole life. Relatedness, no problem. Strong knit family. But autonomy, zero. No autonomy. And so, I mean, it was even to the point where I had to, my parents monitored when I went to class. My mom would drive me to class. I love you, Mama, but I'm telling the story. My mom would drive me to class, sit outside of my classroom, drive me back home. This was a period of time where they were trying to keep me away from a certain guy. I played softball in college, drive me to the softball practice, sit and watch the practice, drive back home. And so it was a rocky time in our household, but what I desperately needed was autonomy. And so I had a friend who went to high school with me, a really good friend of mine, who is now a freaking astronaut. Wow. Victor Glover, look him up. He's an astronaut. And he told me, appointed by President Obama, he told me, come up here and I will, whatever it is, I will help you. And I moved up 4 hours north to Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and we didn't have cell phones. I knocked on his door one day with my 10-month-old son and said, I decided to take you up on the offer. And just like that, he said, well, come in, and welcomed me. I stayed there for about 3 weeks. I did not know that I was knocking on the door of a fraternity house, Phi Beta Sigma fraternity.
Wow.
Awesome guys. And they let me and my son stay there for about 2 weeks until they were like, look, man, this is, y'all kind of putting salt in our game. But they let me stay there for 2 weeks until I got, found a place and got myself settled. And that was the turning point for me in my life, where now all three needs are met. I've got my confidence, always had that. I had a sense of relatedness up there. It was like an instant community. And then autonomy was then had. I had my own place. I got on my feet. Was not easy. I lived with several people, slept on several couches with my son until we were able to get a place. So when the Sigmas, kicked me out in a loving way, they found another place for me to go until I was able to get my own and get on my feet. But my God, that was like the most, and that was I started with my associate's degree, and then I went on to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, which is why I know about the IT stuff, because all my friends were techies. But I was not accepted to Cal Poly at first. They would not accept me. And they said, and because my parents instilled competence, they didn't accept me because they thought I was lying on my transcripts. And I applied 3 times. I got denied. The director of admissions called me and said, stop applying to this school. You will never get into this school, so stop applying. Wow. They had very high standards. And community college was hard, so I didn't have good grades to transfer in with. I had pretty average grades. And Cal Poly is like, you need an A/B average. You need a very high. So what I did, and here's where resourcefulness comes in. I applied. I didn't apply to take classes the formal way. I took classes as a community member. I don't know if you all know this, but you can take classes at your local college just as not a student. I just want to take classes. It costs like 3 times more, but you can do it. So I took a full load of classes. I took 5 classes, and I got straight A's in all of those classes. Mm-hmm. And then I applied again, and that time I got accepted. Nice. And so I figured it out, how to make it happen. I was determined, because last thing I was going to do is uproot again. I was like, look, we just got here.
Driving determination.
Yeah.
That's
so,
it. Yeah, real good.
So, yeah, so that is,
yeah. So a couple of things I thought about when you're saying that. One, I talked about the autonomy, moving here from California, getting away from friends and family. I know that worked for me personally. But I'm also listening. My 16-year-old is getting ready for college. That's the main focus for him right now. Mm-hmm. And I would love for him to go to Georgia Tech. He wants to be biomedical engineering and the astronaut, because I'm going to tap into those resources. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to come back on you guys later.
Okay.
But that young man made it really clear to me just recently that he wants to go. So I know what it's like.
Go away?
He wants to go away.
All right.
So let me just say this. So I kind of understand
My
your
parents.
side. And I understand your parents.
Yes.
Oh my God.
They were scared.
Yeah, I was scared. And I'm not as protective.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been as protective as you, but I am a pretty protective parent.
Yeah.
But he's letting me know respectfully that, Mom, you've got to let go.
Yeah.
And really let go. So
balance challenge.
That's a balance challenge. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, Jordan, he made it really clear to me. He was like, hey, Mom, I want to go away. Because I've been in Georgia all of my life.
So good.
And then I made peace with it. So that conversation happened maybe about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, and I'm going to allow this young man to just go out, and I trust God that he's good, and everything that I've instilled in him, like your parents, up until now, that he's going to be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and yes, I veered off. Their worst. This probably ain't gonna help you, but the worst fear came true. But it came true under their own household. You know. So
exactly.
I'm who I am, no matter where I go. And I don't know what would have happened if I was so. My parents were worried about me because I was naive and I was sheltered, and and so. I was naive and sheltered at home. I would have been naive and sheltered in college. But guess what? I learned and I grew and I thrived. And, and that sometimes we have certain things that we need to go through in order to become the people that we become. So.
Exactly, yes. Woosah, there you go. As we speak, I'm making peace with this.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Anything else to add? Okay.
I'll let you go. He's looking like, I don't know.
No, okay. But well, there's I just want to make sure that I'm catching everything because we're getting really close to the end, so I want to make sure. But we've talked about what we haven't really been able to talk about a lot is your businesses, your philosophy, particularly you, Tarshish. But I'm curious to know, in the process of building your business, you have your 3 C's, and how has that played out in your own journey? And if you wouldn't mind reiterating the 3 C's to everybody.
Confidence, competence. And no, I didn't even put on, and I'm not thinking of it right.
Wait. You need me to pull it up?
Yeah. Put them up for me. Because I'm still thinking about my child.
Yeah. She's kind of emotionally, So it's confidence, credibility, and competence.
Credibility, yes. Yeah, confidence, credibility, and competence. Honestly, so I believe that you've got to be confident in order to do anything. One of the things that I express to people is, in order to truly authentically be who you are and present who you are to the world, it's got to be confident. You have to be confident. So that being authentic, being true to who you are, it all plays in it. Like, you can't go out and exude confidence if you're not being true to who you are. But then you also need to be competent. So when let's say I've got a client and I'm training them, confidence, I tell you, takes you to the next level. But in order to get that credibility, and you've got to first know what you're talking about.
Right.
You've got to take the time to educate yourself. So like I said, I didn't just go out and I took the time. I got the college degrees, and then I went and got the certifications and knowledge that I needed. So I don't care how passionate you are about something, you can't, in my opinion, truly go out and deliver that information and get people to buy in unless you've taken the time to educate yourself. So
by whatever means
exactly
that is, yeah.
And then credibility. People can tell when you're being authentic or not, in my opinion.
Right.
So, like I said, working with a client, whether I'm teaching a group of salespeople or an individual client, I'll tell them, in order to reach any goal, that confidence, credibility, and competence is necessary. I can tell when someone's faking it.
Right.
Most of the time, somebody may out there may be saying, "Oh, I got over on you," but truly, most people can see through the fake it till you make it. So why fake it till you make it? Why don't you just go ahead and take the time? Take the time. And my business, as I mentioned earlier, is personal and business brand development. One of the things I'd like to talk to people about is making sure that your personal brand and your business brand are aligned. I love to say, hey, if you're saying that you are a financial institution, you're going to go out and your professional brand, you're going to open up a professional financial business, become a CFO of some company. You can't come in looking shabby. Can't wear sweats and T-shirts and all those things. There's a time for that,
Right.
but it all needs to align. And those people that you want to have invest in your company, they're not going to find you credible if you don't exude competence and confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that fake it till you make it, that's fake confidence. The real confidence that
Authentic.
comes from building yourself.
Well, it's interesting because when I hear competence and confidence, I hear, a lot of people don't necessarily understand the difference between the two. And if I can maybe paint a picture, I would say that confidence is really what you exude from what comes within. And the competence is what do you have? What are the tools that you truly have within?
Yeah.
And so when you try to exude confidence, when you don't have the competence, that's when it's fake.
It's fake. That's when, yeah. And like I said, and most people can see through it. It can only take you so far.
Right.
If you really want to be successful, if you really want to move to the C-suite, you really want to take your business to the next level. You don't want to just be self-employed. You really want to be a business owner. Back to your points earlier, Dr. Shealey. You've got to take the time to build yourself. You're sitting here, everyone watching, you're looking at 3 people here that we all took the time to invest in ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what I talk to clients about as well. Taking the time to invest in it, your business and your personal brand, to make sure that when you're ready to launch and show the world who you are, they see something extraordinary. You differentiated yourself from everyone out there that's just hustling.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I want to. We're getting close to the tail end, and just kind of some words that come from my blog, The Hopeful Romantic. It's called This Hopeful Romantic, and because I try not to be hopeless, always try to be hopeful. But this is an article about being in control, and we mentioned that I'm a control freak, and so. Control is the greatest vice at all for me. The go-getter types like myself grapple with relinquishing control. If I don't do it, who will? If it doesn't happen now, it'll never happen. If it's not done my way, it's not done the right way. Control freaks like myself have the obsession thing down, but we often neglect one very important element of getting what we want. That is letting go. Sometimes the only way we can achieve our heart's desires is by letting go. Letting go of our own ideas of how it should be done, letting go of rigid timelines, letting go of controlling other people. The more we insist on controlling, the more our dreams and the people we love begin to slowly back away. Letting go is growth. It's strength. It's love. It's often the only road to peace of mind. So when we are trying to balance our lives, and as the Balance Challenge says, it's really important that we learn how to let go when we need to let go. So, any final, we have 30 seconds.
I feel like I've been rambling. I'll give you 15 after you take that. You take 15, I'll take 15.
Well, I appreciate you having me on the show. I feel like I learned a lot. I learned
You taught us a lot.
from you ladies. And to piggyback on what you said about letting go, you're right. If you want to grow, in life and in business, sometimes you just got to let things go.
Yes.
You got to let it go, and sometimes you got to go with the flow.
Ooh, I like that.
Hashtag. Another hashtag. Yeah. Okay, my 15 seconds.
5.
Quickly. Okay. Thing I didn't get to touch on quickly, the relational part. Having amazing friends like you and our girlfriend Tanya, for me, being around other women, business women, and that pushes me. So thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for your friendship. Iron sharpens iron. So I appreciate that.
Hashtag.
Yes. Yep. Hashtag. And then Dr. Shealey, truly, I just sum it up. I didn't come here expecting to learn so much. He's one of my Facebook friends. First time meeting you, that Cream rises to the top. I see why now you have. I've learned a lot from you.
Thank you. I'm so flattered.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Live Exchange. Get Greg's book, Dr. Greg's book. Say it again real quick.
The App Millionaire.
The
How
App
to make
Millionaire.
sleep money with a micro business. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll post it so you all can see it, but make sure you get it. And we'll be back next week, and we're going to be talking about how to build a business and how to get through all that hardship process of building a business. So be with us next week, 11 to 1 on the Live Exchange.
sunshine? Letting the rhythm move you and groove you.
Get in the groove now.